Hey Precalc scholars, I am picking out 4 problems that I know people might have questions on because I didn't do examples with this. Let's see if I can get this to move up. All right, there we go. In your notes. But this is stuff that you actually have the skill to be able to do. So I'm going to do number 11 with you from your homework. And this was the directions. It says find the standard form of the equation of the circle with the given characteristics. And on number 11, they gave you the endpoints of the diameter. So the endpoints of the diameter, which were going to be negative 6, 0, and we were going to end up having 0, negative 2. Now remember, the diameter of a circle goes across a circle, and so these would be your endpoints, and it goes right through the center. Now there are several things that will help you with this one. First of all, if I have my two values here, and I didn't draw this in scale, but let's just say this was it, negative 6, 0, and I got 0, negative 2. Totally not drawn correctly, but go with this for right now. I could find the center using the midpoint formula. So due to the center, I'm going to use midpoint formula. And remember, the midpoint formula we learned at the beginning of the semester was x1 plus x2 over 2. And y1 plus y2 all over 2. So I'm going to plug in our values and get negative 6 plus 0 over 2. And I'm going to go 0 plus negative, use these two together, right? All over 2. And I get negative 3 and negative 1 as my center. Now, I also need the length of my radius. Now, there's 2 different ways you could do this. Once you know your center, you could use either one of these points and use the distance formula to solve for it. Or you could use the fact that you could find the length of the whole diameter using the 2 endpoints and then dividing that in half. Either method works great. Now, I don't want to have to divide my final answer by 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the radius using the fact I have the center point calculated, okay, and using that with one of the endpoints. So I think I'm just going to use my endpoint here. Again, you could use the distance formula and find the length of the diameter that way and then divide by 2. I'm good either way. So what's the distance formula? Remember, we're actually finding the radius, but the distance formula is the square root of the quantity y2 minus y1 squared plus the quantity y2 minus y1 squared again. And when I put that there, what do we do? All right, so we plug it in. I'm going to let this be 2, 2, 1, 1 over here. So I get here a negative 3 minus a negative 6 squared plus the quantity a negative 1 minus 0 squared. So we're going to simplify underneath our radical. And this would be 3 squared. This would be negative 1 squared. We've had 9 plus 1. And we get the square root of 10. All right. So the radius has a length of square root of 10. But we're going to plug it into our standard form, which is this right here. So I'm going to go x minus h, which is negative 3. So that's x plus, oops, I want to put a 3 there instead. 3 squared plus the quantity y minus k. So that's y minus a negative 1, which makes that a positive 1 squared. And then I got to square root 10, which is going to give me 10. So a little more work on that one, but I think there's an example in the textbook to help you as well. But hopefully that helped on number 11. Okay, on number 17, this is where it's kind of nice. They give it to you in standard form. We get the square root of x plus 1 squared plus the quantity y plus 6 squared equals 19. And they just say identify the center and the radius. Well, remember, this is your general form, and you've got to pull out your information from that. So what's my center going to be? Well, my center is x minus h, so I have to find the h. Well, plus 1 means that's a negative 1. minus k, so I have a plus 6 here, so that means that was a minus 6. There's your center. And your radius is really simple. You just have to go square root of 9, which is going to be 3. So just want to make sure you understood what is happening there.